Battle of Sybota, a naval confrontation in 433 BCE, stands as a significant precursor to the larger and more devastating Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta. This pivotal battle involved the city-states of Corinth and Corcyra, modern-day Corfu, with Athens playing a decisive support role for Corcyra. The clash can be viewed as a critical moment where simmering tensions within the Greek world began to overflow, setting the stage for the Peloponnesian War. This contributes to its importance, acting as a demonstration of rising hostilities and fractured alliances among the Greek city-states. Two specific examples underscore its significance. First, the battle epitomizes the growing rivalry and polarization within Greece, with Corinth, a member of the Peloponnesian League led by Sparta, clashing directly with Corcyra, whose newly formed alliance with Athens acted as a counterbalance to Spartan ambitions. Second, Athenian support of Corcyra marked a significant breach of the 30 Years' peace with Corinth, thus igniting tensions that would eventually culminate in open warfare. This support underscored Athens' intent to expand its influence and demonstrated its strategic interest in controlling crucial naval routes. Opinions from the period, like those of the historian Thucydides, indicate that the Sybota conflict was symptomatic of broader political maneuvers. Thucydides emphasized that these kinds of disputes, fueled by alliances and power struggles, were rooted in deep issues of fear, honor, and interest, key elements propelling Greek city-states towards war. However, the situation wasn't without its controversies. Some contemporaries and scholars argue that Athenian intervention was excessively aggressive, suggesting that Athens' actions unnecessarily exacerbated tensions. This interventionist approach remains a point of debate, illustrating Athens' tendency to involve itself in disputes far from its immediate sphere of influence. This battle not only set the stage for larger conflicts, but also influenced Athenian strategic decisions and foreign policy. The aftermath saw increased hostilities that directly precipitated the outbreak of the Peloponnesian War. Sybota, therefore, was more than just an isolated conflict. It was a harbinger of the chaos and enduring rivalry that characterized the Greek world in the classical era. Its implications rippled across the region, influencing alliances, strategies, and the eventual geopolitical landscape of ancient Greece. The background and origins of the conflict concerning the Battle of Sybota, 433 BCE, sets the stage for understanding this significant prelude to the Peloponnesian War. The Battle of Sybota was a naval confrontation between the Corinthian and Corcyrian fleets, deeply rooted in the growing tensions and complex alliances of ancient Greece. At its core, this conflict illustrates the power struggle between Athens and Sparta and their respective allies, which eventually spiraled into the larger, devastating Peloponnesian War. The significance of this point lies in its role as a catalyst for the war. The conflict emerged from a disputed alliance between the city-state of Corcyra and Athens. Corcyra, originally a Corinthian colony, sought Athenian assistance against Corinth's aggression, raising tensions between Corinth, a powerful ally of Sparta, and Athens. This incident tested the fragile peace established by the 30 Years' peace treaty and demonstrated the precarious nature of interpolis relationships. Understanding these origins is crucial, as they reflect the intricate web of alliances and enmities that defined Greek politics. One specific example is the initial Corinthian refusal to let Corcyra, and their subsequent appeal to Athens for aid, highlighting the competitive diplomacy of the era. Athens, by supporting Corcyra, was seen to violate its treaty with Sparta, thus setting a precedent for direct confrontation with the Peloponnesian League. Another example is the strategic importance of Corcyra's location along crucial trade routes in the Ionian Sea, compelling both Athens and Corinth to vie for influence. Opinions on the significance of the battle underscore its role in undermining the peace between Athens and Sparta. Historians argue that Athens' involvement displayed an aggressive expansionist policy, directly challenging Spartan authority. The battle exemplified the fine line Athens treaded in its bid for power, which many contemporaries viewed as an inevitable path to war. Nevertheless, alternative viewpoints suggest that Athens had legitimate interests in aiding Corcyra to secure vital trade routes and a formidable navy against Corinthian hostility. Critics argue that the Athenians underestimated the Corinthian response and the broader implications it had for the peace with Sparta. This battle not only reflects the simmering hostilities between the city-states, but also directly influenced the escalation into the wider Peloponnesian War by straining the Athenian alliance system. It laid bare the vulnerabilities and competitive tensions within the Greek world, illustrating how local disputes could trigger far-reaching consequences. Understanding the background and origins of the Battle of Sybota is essential for grasping the broader dynamics that ultimately led to one of antiquity's most famous wars. In the prelude to the Peloponnesian War, the conflict between Corinth and Corcyra over the Battle of Sybota in 433 BCE serves as a critical catalyst. This clash underscores the volatile nature of Greek intercity relations and highlights the delicate balance of power within the Greek world. Corinth and Corcyra, both powerful city-states with naval prowess, were engaged in a fierce struggle for influence, setting into motion events that would significantly alter Greek geopolitics. The significance of this confrontation cannot be overstated. It exemplifies the fractious and competitive environment among Greek city-states, illustrating how local disputes could escalate into larger conflicts, ultimately contributing to the broader outbreak of the Peloponnesian War. The key players here, Corinth and Corcyra, not only represent individual city-state interests, but also the larger alliances that were forming on the eve of a great war. Corinth's alliance with Sparta and Corcyra's eventual alignment with Athens were crucial, as these affiliations would draw the major powers into direct conflict, further destabilizing the region. A specific example illustrating this point is the Corinthians attempting to reassert control over their colony, Corcyra, which resented Corinthian interference. This animosity escalated to naval skirmishes that culminated in the Battle of Sybota. Another instance is the diplomatic maneuvering, where Corcyra sought an alliance with Athens for protection, effectively creating a tripartite tension that would engulf the major Hellenic powers. While some ancient historians, like Thucydides, underscore the inevitability of the Peloponnesian War due to such conflicts, modern scholars debate the extent to which this particular event was pivotal. Some argue it was merely an inevitable clash of the status quo, rather than a war trigger. Moreover, the varying interests of Athens and Sparta in these smaller disputes also bring up controversies, such as the use of diplomacy versus aggression and the balance of power politics. The tension between Corinth and Corcyra connects deeply with the main topic by demonstrating the complex alliances and antagonisms that characterized Greek politics at the time. It influenced how city-states engaged with one another and laid the groundwork for alliances that defined the Peloponnesian War. This interplay of local disputes and grand alliances paints a vivid picture of the pre-war Greek world, highlighting the intricate web of loyalties and enmities that set the stage for one of history's most famous conflicts. The strategic importance of Sybota in the context of the prelude to the Peloponnesian War cannot be overstated. As a site near the coast of modern-day Greece, the islands of Sybota served as a critical location for naval engagements. When discussing the Battle of Sybota in 433 BCE, it is essential to understand Sybota's geographical role as a pivotal maritime point. The significance of Sybota during this period primarily lies in its strategic positioning between the powerful city-states of Corcyra and Corinth. Control over this region allowed a navy to dominate shipping routes essential for trade and military movements in the Ionian Sea. This strategic maritime advantage made Sybota a highly contested area, and the ensuing battle is often cited as one of the precursors to the Peloponnesian War. A real-world parallel is the Strait of Hormuz today, a critical choke point through which a significant percentage of the world's petroleum passes. Having control over such a region can offer both strategic military advantages and influence over global economic activities. Another example is the Bosporus Strait, historically significant as a crucial naval and trade route that connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. These areas, much like Sybota, highlight the perpetual strategic importance of controlling key maritime routes throughout history. Supporters of the concept assert that holding strategic positions allows a state to project power, secure economic interests, and maintain security. In the case of Sybota, the naval presence signified greater control in the balance of power between emerging Athenian naval strength and the older power of Sparta's ally Corinth. However, the importance of these strategic locations also brings challenges and controversies, such as the risk of conflict escalation. In the case of Sybota, the skirmish heightened tensions between Athens and Sparta, leading directly to the Peloponnesian War. Critics might argue that focusing too much on strategic locations can provoke unnecessary conflicts. The strategic importance of Sybota relates to broader elements of the Peloponnesian War by illustrating the critical role naval power played in that conflict. It underscores how geographic and economic factors can spur military confrontations and alter the course of history. Therefore, understanding Sybota's importance offers valuable insights into why Athens and Sparta were drawn into a protracted and devastating war, highlighting the enduring relevance of strategic sites in military and political strategy.